We're here with Dale Lau and Phil Hartke of the Effingham County Fair on the Fair Board. Talk about, guys, we're entering the 80th year of the Effingham County Fair this year, but specifically you, Phil, you've been on it for 39 years. How much has the fair changed since you began on it?
Well, the original fair when I came on was, of course, much smaller. But the theme of the fair, the main thing of the fair was still 4-H, and still 4-H is a big part of the fair. That hasn't changed. 4-H is a foundation of almost every county fair in the state of Illinois, and ours is no different. Without 4-H, I'm not sure there'd be many county fairs. So that being said, we build on our success every year. We try something new, we try something different, we add things, we keep developing, we keep getting better, and our focus is to make sure that our grounds are always look nice. When people come here, we want to be able to get them in the van, get them in the grounds in a hurry. I know they're going to probably say they sit on 40 and wait, but we try, and we try to get them on here, and we try to accommodate them once they get here to make sure they have a good time. We have good entertainment, and we'll talk about a lot of that later. But I'm sure it's just I tell people our success is attendance. So if you don't have attendance, then you can't have the good programs. If you don't have any attendance, you can't pay for the infrastructure that we see out here today to fix the roads and paint the buildings and everything else. So the one builds on the other. Without attendance, you can't do hardly anything. So we're proud that we do get the attendance we do have at this fair.
As far as the entertainment, you have Gabby Barrett headlining and opening up as Walker Montgomery, John Michael Montgomery's son. When you started this 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, from the entertainment side of it, how much you think has changed as far as all the new artists coming into play, but also just like the artists have come and people are just enjoying being a part of such good music?
Well, when we first started doing it, the concert was if we got lucky, if we broke even, and we just barely fill the grandstands on a good show. Now we're pretty much packing the grandstands every year. We moved the stage farther back on the track so we can have more people on the infield and or on the track, and then we created the party pit to stand up in front. We just try to make everybody a very pleasant experience for a concert, and it's economical. It's not like a high dollar ticket to come and see our shows, but yet you get to see quality entertainment. We just strive every year to get better and better acts that people enjoy watching. We're unique. We don't have a beer garden, so we have box seats. We have, as Phil just talked about, the 4-H is a big part of our fair, so we have a lot of kids here at our fair. So we want acts that take care of the young folks and the old folks. Just everybody can come out and have a good time, and that's what our goal is, to always have a good show.
Back early, I don't know how many years ago it's been, I approached the board when I first was on the board, not necessarily first on the board, but I said my proposal, Lee Greenwood came out with God Bless the USA, and I said, we're going to have Lee Greenwood as entertainment at our fair. And the board said, my God, we'll never be able to afford that. And I said, we're not going to pay for him. World Color Press is. So several board members and I went to see World Color Press, and we approached the idea that they would pay for the entire entertainment, and they would have one session. We had two sessions to Lee Greenwood. The early session was for our box seat holders and regular fairgoers, and then the late session would be for the World Color, and they bought into it. They did pay for the entire Lee Greenwood, which wasn't cheap at the time. When Lee Greenwood came out with God Bless America, that was a big hit. That was quite a deal, and they came out here and put on a show, and I think maybe 2 years, and then that kind of fell by the wayside. But that kind of I think that was the opener for our people expecting great entertainment at the fair. When you have Lee Greenwood at the Effingham County Fair, that was a big deal way back in that time.
When the fair is over with, like last year, how much time does it take you guys to prepare for this whole fair for this year, for each year in and year out?
Well, we have a wrap-up meeting. The fair board has a wrap-up meeting after the fair, a couple weeks after the fair. We kind of talk about what went well, what maybe didn't go well, what we can improve while it's fresh on everybody's mind. And that kind of lays the groundwork for the next year, and then it starts immediately after that. I mean, everybody starts doing what their part of their responsibility is. They start anticipating next year. Some things have to be done by January, some things have to be done in the mid of the summer. So it kind of depends on what going on, but in January we make sure all the contracts are signed to make sure we have all the entertainment as far as rodeos, tractor pulls, and everything that happens at the fair. So then we got food vendors you got to deal with. You know, we got carnival we got to talk to, deal with horse racing year round with having people out here stabling and training. So it's a year-round fair.
Yeah, Dale's exactly right. Last year at this time when we had that wrap-up meeting, we didn't have any of this work done here for the 2-acre carnival yet. We had the infrastructure in place. We had the ground electric in place. We had the lift station in place, but none of the sod was moved, none of the dirt was hauled out. And now look at it, a year later, we've got a 2.5-acre paved area for the carnival, not paved area, millings area for the carnival, and they're pleased as peach with it. So yeah, we'll be starting immediately after this fair thinking about next year.
You guys are always the one putting the work in and making it successful for the people to come. But now when you get to actually enjoy the fair, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is to see a family come out here, go to the food court, have your corn dog or a pork burger or whatever they want to do, and then they head out to the carnival and have a great time there. Or they go up to the grandstand on an afternoon and they take the kids up there and watch the harness racing. I had a grandpa tell me one time that this is the greatest fair in the world because you can bring the kids out to the 4-H show in the morning and they can go out and they can pet animals, they can look at rabbits, they can look at ducks and everything else, watch either a cow or a beef show or a pig, whatever's going on. Then they can go out and take the kids out to dinner, go up to the horse race in the afternoon, and then in the evening, go out to the carnival. He said, what grandpa can take a kid out and see all those things all in one day and enjoy every minute of it? That's a pleasure for me to see families to be able to do that kind of stuff.
I'll play off of that just a little bit. It's the kids. I take care of the 4-H and the junior show out there in the 4-H complex, and it's just awesome to see all the kids out there with their projects, getting to show them, and they build friendships, they get leadership skills. The parents all come together and see each other, even if they only see each other once a year. I mean, it's just, we call them fair friends. We see them every year at this time. We know we're going to see each other, and we just pick up from where we start. It's just the camaraderie of everyone, and the camping is went, you know, back in my day, and I'm going to age myself, we used to stay back in 2-ton trucks and pickups, you know, and stay all night. Now we got fifth wheels and motorhomes and beautiful campers out here. There's almost like 100 campers out here with family and friends staying together. It's just fun to bring the whole county together to have one place that we all feel like it's ours.
If I continue, when I first became president, I had a gal call me in September, and I was the first time I was president. She wanted to know when the next year's fair was going to be, and I said, well, I think it's going to be these dates. She says, no, I need to know because my daughter's getting wedding and she's not getting married on the Saturday of the demolition derby because no one would come. So that's kind of how people plan ahead, and that's why they, you know, they build around. They build family vacation. They build people. Their kids coming in from out of town on the dates of the Effingham County Fair, which is great.
For the harness racing, Kurt Becker, the best, good as it gets. I mean, we're very fortunate to have him here. But when you hear him on the radio through Greg and Flex, you hear him talking about the races and nailing every horse there is. How smart he is. How fortunate do you guys feel about that more than anything?
He's a special person. He not only knows the pedigree of the horses, he knows a lot of the owners, he knows a lot of the trainers. He follows the horse racing in other venues, the state fair and the DuQuoin fair and even other states. To have it that well of knowledge, and then he works very well with Scott Beal also. Those two just back and forth, and they have trivia contests. And if you can't enjoy an afternoon at the Effingham County Fair, then I don't know what else we could do for you, because either one of them is going to come up with a trivia question, the other one does. So, and it's they've almost got to interrupt themselves when Kurt says here they come, and then they got to stop all this other stuff. But the people really enjoy that.
Yeah, we count our blessings every year to have Kurt. I mean, he is world-renowned announcer. He does NASCAR, he does horses, and he knows both very well. He knows the history of this fair. Him living in our community is just a godsend, and he has helped make the horse racing as strong as what it is in the state of Illinois. And we have 6 days of horse racing, no one else does. So that is something we're really proud of, and you know, it's just awesome. People come to this horse racing, and instead of sitting 20 minutes in between races, they're constantly entertained. They never a downtime. So we have a good turnout, and people enjoy it, and then they get to listen to the radio with it on the radio also, which is awesome. That's a cool deal.
Yes, my prize is blowing away here. I was looking for somebody who correctly selected Old Freight Shaker, the number 3 horse in that race. For $5, I do the name of Bethany Nelson. Bethany Nelson, are you here? Bethany Nelson. Oh, there she is. We'll get you $5, Bethany. Let's get some more prizes away. Try to give away as many as we can. Luckily, we have a lot of races today. Kinsey Zittrich. Kinsey Zittrich. Young lady up there. Kinsey, I'll give you a free biscuit from Hartke's.
Cool name, leads it by a length. Here comes a challenge for the lead, though. Just Another Bag is moving up on the outside and is right alongside of Don't Like School. Just Another Bag puts a head in front as they move by. The Grand is sixth and last. 3/4, 132 and 1. It's a 3-wide battle for the lead around the far turn. 3/4, 132 and 1. Primed and Powerful, swinging up in the center of the racetrack. From third to second, trying to catch Don't Like School, and Just Another Bag is there in between those two. Don't Like School still has the lead. Primed and Powerful far outside. Just Another Bag between them. 3 horses across the track. Here they are at the wire. Just Another Bag wins it by 3/4 of a length. It's going to be close for second. Either Don't Like School toward the inside or Primed and Powerful toward the outside in a photo for the runner-up spot. So time for the mile is 2:02 flat. Let's go back to Scott Beal.
Absolutely, we're going to have a lot of fun in the grandstand. It looks like we're going to be launching t-shirts. That's been a treat every day all week. You folks in the grandstand, heads up.
Because as they start to race, if they look south of the grandstand, they'll see where those horses have been trained, because we have trainers out here every day, probably 35 or 40 horses every day trained to race horse. So as they go around the backstretch, they look across the fence, and what's out there? Carl Becker's farm for years and years. There are foals out there that they might watch on this track 2 years from now or 3 years from now. And then they come around the other side, well, they see a horse corral that the 4-H uses. So as they come around, it's horses all the way around until they come to the venue. So Weather County Fair presents that kind of a venue, that type of atmosphere for harness racing. I don't know of any in the state of Illinois.
As far as the toughest obstacle, preparing for this, for the next year, year in and year out, what is the toughest thing you guys have to go through to make sure everything is lined out perfectly?
Well, it's the same thing for every business. It's, you know, making sure you have the finances to do what you want to do. The sky's the limit on what you can do, but you have to be able to pay for it. So we have to pay attention to that as far as all of our contracts, everything we do, entertainment, tractors, everything has to be something that we can afford to do. We have a phenomenal sponsorship program that lets us do things that we wouldn't even be able to dream about doing without our sponsors. So as far as obstacles, basically getting everything pulled together, because we have so many moving objects in this fair, between 4-H, general projects, horse racing, tractor pulling, concerts, rodeos, carnivals, shoots and fests, exhibits. I mean, there is a list a mile long of everything that has to come together on 1 week, and so we have to make it happen in 1 week. And it takes a lot of volunteers to do that.
From my standpoint as president of the board, I think it is the confidence in those 15 members board to put their confidence in who's ever in charge of a specific thing. Fred Purcell, for example, takes care of the grandstand. None of the other people have to worry about getting someone to take the ticket to the grandstand. Fred Purcell gets that job done. And if he doesn't get it done, then he lets someone else know early in advance to get that job done. Michelle Loy at the gates, it takes a lot of people to gate takers to take in the money. Parkers, she takes care of that. So you got to have confidence in the people they're going to do their job. Not necessarily they're not giving their job, they all volunteer for that. John Becker, no one ever that board ever contacted a police station or not a police station, a fire station in the life of the fair that I've known of. But John always take care of that. So we have the department from Alamont, Diedrich, and all over, make sure that they're here for the tractor pulls, for the demolition derby, and everything else. So every one of them people on that board has a key position or a key something that they're responsible for. Emily Merkel, advertising. No, some of the other board members don't worry anything about taking care of the advertising. That's going to be Emily's job to make sure that gets done. So we got to have confidence on the board that they're going to do their job, and they do. So that's why we're so successful, is those 15 people on the board are committed and they get the job done.
Yeah, I don't have friends from all over states away that are flying in for the whole week. What's it mean to you when you're attracting people from 24 hours away to want to check out something new that they've never seen before, that people just cannot stop talking about?
Well, you got to pick your day. I guess some of the people coming out of town might not have all week. If they had all week, that'd be fine, because we got something going on every day. I think the key to our fair is There's something going on out through the day. It's not just an evening fair. There's a harness racing afternoon. There's 4-H shows. This year we have the Victory Lane. We got the wood carver. I mean, there's something to do all the time. So we're pleased that people bring their relatives in, friends, or whatever from out of town, because I think we're a showcase fair. We're not a state fair, but we're a pretty darn good county fair.
Like Phil alluded to, I mean, this is a showcase fair. We're very, very proud of it. And when people come from far away to see it, you know, this is our county, and everything happens that goes on in here is from our county. So we are proud to showcase it, and we really enjoy people coming in to see what Effingham County has to offer. It's an awesome place to be.
The fair starts this Saturday. It goes till next Saturday. But of all the fair events for the whole week, what's your favorite?
I think Wednesday is my favorite day of the fair because we have a carnival in place. We have the kids have already had a great time in the 4-H area. They've got their grand champions. We publicize the auction, which this year starts at 5 o'clock. We get great business support for all those kids coming out bidding for their animals. The businesses bid up that price. A lot of that money ends up in the 4-H's kids going on to college and everything else. It's a great night. We get the Illinois Beef Association to give away free samples of beef out there. We got the Farm Credit giving away watermelon. We have give away water. I think there's popcorn to give away. So there's and Wednesday night's always a tractor pull. So it's a big night, and I think that's midway through the week, and everyone has enjoyed some other things, and now they're coming back for a second visit. So I think it's great on Wednesday.
I would have to say probably Sunday. There is a ton of things going on in the 4-H complex. We have a lot of activity. All the kids are in place for their projects. We've got the parade going on. We got our shows start. The horse racing gets started. Then we have the talent show and the junior miss in the evening. There's just so much going on that Sunday, and it's all family-oriented activities, and so you got a ton of kids out here and a lot of activity going on. There's something going on nonstop on Sunday.
What impresses you the most for the fair every year?
What I'm impressed with is our return customers, I will say. The people that come back to the fair year after year after year. You can see the same faces over and over again. There's a lot of new ones too, but there's just a lot of the same people, the same supporters, the same people putting on things. You can see the kids showing, and then a few years later, there are young adults coming back out here. Then they have their kids in. I've been around 4-H a long time, and I'm seeing grandkids showing from kids that I went to school with and showed with back when I was young. So it is fun seeing the constant people coming back and supporting this fair.
I'm impressed with how the people mull around our food court area. If it's after a show or before a show, I am amazed every year as to how crowded it is an hour before the show out in our food court area. And I think we have one of the nicest one around. I mean, they'll get fries here, and they'll get a Coke there, and they might get elephant ear over here, and then they all bring that food back to the food court area. It is a family heaven. It is a place where they all mull around. I'm impressed every year how crowded it is, and then after the shows all start, it kind of filters out. But I'm telling you, if you're coming here to a program, and if you aren't impressed with our food court area and how many food joints we have and how well they work together, they help clean the place up in between time. It is amazing. I just love to see that.
All the pageant stuff Tuesday night. What's it mean to you guys to like have a new queen every year, representing our county the best they can?
We're very lucky, and we always have tremendous interest in our queen contest. It seems like we always have a minimum of 6, 7, 8, 9 contestants. That tells me that the girls want to be that queen. They're interested in it. They go out. Some of them go out repeat, trying to get the crown for the Effingham County Fair. And then immediately afterward, we get that girl coming the next morning to hand out trophies and everything else. And we try to help her out as best we can. We tell her that what she's, what's expected of her. And I think that's a big thing. The girls, it is just an honor. They got a duty to represent and to help Effingham County Fair. And our queens always do that. They always help us out. By the end of the year, they're better spokesmen than some of us are, because they know the fair then. They've realized what we all do. I've had a lot of queens tell me that they are amazed at the back work that all takes care of to put this program together, because they're always in the office before the drawings. The names, they announce the names. We give them a little public speaking exposure there and announce the names for the winners. So we right away, we're training those girls to be leaders. We're training them to be part of a good, successful program. And most of them come back and say, I just realized all the back work, all the stuff that has to be done in order to put on a fair. So we're educating them. We're giving them an opportunity to become public speakers. We're educating them to be responsible, to show up at the other queen contests when they're supposed to, and to do of them and everything else. So we've had some great queens in the past. We're going to have more as this life goes on, because we expect a lot of them and we get a lot out of them.
The Thursday night, always, place is just packed. The grandstand, I mean, there's no room at all. To have a rodeo like this and to have some of the best in the area, but not just that, but they're competing for points. They're competing for a big deal. What's that mean to you more than anything?
Well, we're very pleased with the Whippoorwill Rodeo that we have here that puts on our rodeo. They bring in great contestants. They have quality horses, and their stock, you know, they're bulls. You know, they have trouble with riders trying to ride them because they're such good stock. Ton of barrel racers. They run slack about midnight before we get out of here with slack, because there's so many participants show up. And you talk about it being crowded. It is pretty awesome. I know I come over here a couple years ago when we were hooking up the sound, and just to check to make sure the sound was right. And I looked up in the grandstand and it was packed. The bleachers were packed and everybody was cheering and having a great time. And that was just pretty awesome to see that.
A couple of years ago, you guys added on to the grandstand. You had the seats to the south side added on. How much of an impact has that brought the community as far as more people attract this more?
Well, it has helped a lot. We put a little over 400 seats on the south of the grandstand. They're quality seats. They're not, we had seats there before, but they were just old angle iron wood bleachers. Now they're aluminum on steel. So it's just great seating, and you can see well because they're elevated. And then the infield, we went from sucker rods and angle irons to wood posts to now we have steel and aluminum with, you know, these good steps, and they're all elevated, beautiful vision. We have not actually ever sold them out since we put those up. You can always find a place for 3 or 4 more people. If even when we think we're full, you can always find 3 or 4 people that could sit somewhere, and they're in the far corners, but we still have room. So technically we've never sold out since we've got the new bleachers. But man, we have a bunch of people up there, and it is pretty awesome to see them all.
Well, we have a lot of parking on the grounds, but we filled it up pretty quick. So a few years back, we rented 3 acres from Lynn Cool, and so we have a 3-acre parking lot that's south of our grounds that we rent. And also, if the weather doesn't cooperate and the parking lot becomes soft, we've hauled people from the school, from a couple of churches in the area and everything else, and used bus service to get them here. So yeah, if we can accommodate the parking on the grounds here, then we usually supplement that with parking at the high school and then bus them in.
And we have a parking crew that helps people find places, and we as board members, when it gets really, really busy, we'll run around and try to find places for them to park, because we don't want to turn anybody away. And then we have a lot of people that just park at the high school and walk in. So everybody's kind of figured out a niche how to get into the fairgrounds. The
buildings that you guys have added on, describe that.
Well, we continue to improve them. We continue to try to upgrade everything we've got here. The Society Horseborn, for example, next to the 4-H facility was dilapidated. It needed to have a new roof. The foundation was poor. We refurbished that in 2017, I believe, and then we got it reconfigured, and the new foundation, everything else. That's one of the few pin barns left in the county. It is what they call pin barn construction. So if you're going to go there and walk in, you can see how some of this old Amish type construction. Which that's great. So people ask me then, when was the Society Horseborn built? It was 1906. When were some of the other buildings? When did you add the food court? So this year we've got a sign on every one of the buildings out here as the date it was constructed and so forth. For example, the grandstand was built in 1945. The roof was put on in 1993. So as you come out to the fairgrounds, you kind of get on your mind as to how long that building's there. Even though they look good, pork producers. I forget what year that was, but yeah, every year we add something. Now the 4-H complex has had about 6 or 8 additions to it, so it's kind of a series of years there. But the handicap area too has a date on it. So as we look around the area here, and you think about when they were added, it's been quite the configuration in my lifetime on this board about how many buildings we've added and how well they're kept and everything else. So it's good.
Along with that is the Society Horse Barn. It was basically sitting on about 3 posts and swinging, and so we decided either had to save it or tear it down. Well, we started talking about it, and it being a pin barn like Phil talked about, and the structure that it's made with the peak on the top, and it is so unique to nowadays construction. They don't have that anymore. So we decided to save it. So we went to Farm Bureau and asked them for some money to help us get started with it, and they were generous enough to offer us enough money to get started. And then we started asking other businesses, because they thought it was such a neat idea to restore that kind of building, that we were able to almost get that whole thing entirely paid for off the contributions. So that kind of was the start of our sponsorship program. That was the founding of the sponsorship program, is because of how successful we were with that Society Horse Barn, raising the money to refurbish it. Then we just, in the businesses, thought it was a great way to support the fair, so we just expanded it to something that they can do every year on a regular basis, and we can take that money and keep our infrastructure built up and make it look as good as it is today.
All the work you guys put into this, when it's fair week, when it's fair's done, all the work that goes into it, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud when people come up to you in town and say, I really enjoyed the rodeo this year. I hope you have it back next year. I really enjoyed the tractor pull on Wednesday night. I hope you have those classes again. Or I really enjoyed the great weather we had this year. I hope you guys are working on next year to have a good program or better than next year. So yeah, I think it's public campaign to me throughout the year. Thanking the board for the effort that we put in, and the amazing thing, it's not simple to put on an 8-day event, and different people, different strokes for different people. Some people don't like harness racing, and some people like demolition derbies, and other people like harness racing and wouldn't come to a demolition derby because they're too loud or they're too noisy or something else. So we gotta cater to the people's needs, and I think we do that with the different events.
I'm most proud of probably, of course, our fair, just in general. It's an awesome fair. But it's kind of neat when people from out of town come and see your fair, or come to just the fairgrounds and talk about how nice they are, how wonderful it is. When people come to, we have cattle shows and Borgo shows and stuff, and people think, this is an awesome grounds. We need to come back. This is awesome. That just kind of makes you feel proud that you're part of that, to be able, people think you got such a cool place. Saturday, we start with the 5K run, car show in the mornings, which draws a lot of people to both of those. They get a run on a horse track, which is something kind of neat. And then we go into the PPL pull that night. We've got tractors from all over the United States come for that, and trucks. And we got a mini rod pull this year, which is something different that people hadn't seen in a long time. They're really pretty fast and kind of crazy when they go down the track, so it's kind of fun to watch. Monday is a very powerful tractor pull. Wanted to see the best tractor pull of the night, where the fair will be Monday night.
Parade Sunday, a lot of kids are going to be out here for that parade Sunday. They line up along the roads, and of course Sunday is at Victory Lane, where the kids can drive these cars. That's something different. They're going to be busy as heck. You mentioned tractor pulls. Of course, you got the rodeo on Thursday night. Friday night is a nice concert. I was in Vandalia picking up some golf carts today, and a gal said, "Do you have Gabby Barrett at your fair?" I said, "Yeah, we do." She says, "I'm coming." So that's another customer. We'll make room for one more. So anyway, and then we close up Saturday night for Demolition Derby. Demolition Derby's always been the crowd pleaser. It's always been a big crowd, and the noise and the smoke and everything else. So yeah, it winds it up.
Where can people find tickets for each event, every night, social media, everything?
Well, the easiest thing is to go to effinghamcountyfair.com. It's just effinghamcountyfair.com, and you can click on the button to get tickets, and then you go to the eTick website. Make sure it's eTick, or you go through our website. That way you're not going through a reseller. You get the actual price that way. And you can follow us on Facebook, Effingham County Fair Facebook page. We do our daily activities there. We instant activities, the website gets you information, but all the instant activities, any news stuff that happens is on our Facebook. Or you can call the office, 1-888-854-FAIR is a number. You can call the fair to buy tickets, or you can come out to the fair office. Now we've got fair office hours now, so you can come to the fair, you can call us, you can go to Facebook, or you can go to our EffinghamCountyFair.com website.
Phil Hartke, Dale Lau, two of the fair board members on the Effingham County Fair. We're entering the 80th year, which is very unique. So I wanted to talk to these guys about kind of promoting this year's fair and how from when it began to where it's at now, it's risen so much. So guys, thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate it. Good luck with this week's fair. We look forward to enjoying some fun times with our community.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, yeah.